For those that don't know, the Supreme Court ruled Monday for the Trump administration and agreed U.S. immigration agents may stop and detain anyone they suspect in the U.S. illegally based on little more than working at a gas station, at a restaurant, at a car wash, speaking Spanish, or having brown skin. That is all they need. If you speak Spanish or have brown skin, you are in danger. My family's in danger. And we have to step up. We have to be the change. We have to spread the word. Make sure to keep your family as safe as you can. Let them be informed. And that's the best that we can do.
Mexico, right? And I'm like, no, I'm from here. And I was born here. Here, where's here? Where are you talking about? Where exactly is here? I'm like, here, the U.S., Los Angeles. They put us in chains. So I had a chain from my hand and under my belly that went all the way to my legs. Every now and then, fix my hands because I felt like I would be putting too much pressure because the chain went under my belly.
Latinos, Mexican, they voted heavily for DJT. And we talked about this. Latinos regretting. But let me say this. Right now, Latinos are the truth is Latinos voted heavily for DJT. And we talked about this. If you go on social media, on TikTok, open, Latinos were MAGA supporters, But I think right now, Latinos are learning reality the hard way. They are really doing that, after ignoring black people all those years, after ignoring the warnings. Right now, it's 9 months of DJT on power, and I think it is hard on them. Mostly on these immigration policies, it is crushing them so bad. That is reality. Now, I appreciate you so much, my family, and I love you so much, and I respect you so much. So the message of today is one that carries the weight, okay? It touches on the truth, and one that exposes how history has a way of cycling back. Now, today I'm going to dive into a topic that some may find uncomfortable, but we're just gonna go with it. Latinos are learning reality the hard way, okay? And at the center of this awakening is America's immigration system. I talked about that. A system designed not to protect, not to embrace, but to exploit and to discard. And I'm going to unpack why so many Latinos thought they were shielded, why they didn't listen to black people, why did they listen to the warnings. But before I do that, I want you to watch these clips of my Latino brothers and sisters regretting. It is the reality. Let's watch this one and then we come back.
That wave the Mexican flag. If you're so proud to be Mexican and want to be the Mexican flag, then go to Mexico with it.
What was your name? I'm so sorry.
My name is Rachel. My name is Rachel, and I don't need to give you my last name. This is my neighborhood. This is where I live.
I just wanted to
put it on the internet. I have anger. My husband just has to have a triple bypass surgery, and then I have weird people in my neighborhood.
Right now?
Yeah, it is.
It's okay.
It is. But even my neighbor feels the same way. Even my neighbor who is here, she is legally here.
Okay.
Huh. Because you're interfering, not letting them do their job for a stolen car. If ICE was here,
public property.
Oh my God! If ICE was here, I understand.
We're on the sidewalk. They have not.
I know you're videotaping me.
They have not told us anything.
If ICE was here, I could see you guys. Okay, let's record it. Let's show the people that ICE is here and what they're doing. Okay. But these men are doing their job. Okay. A stolen car, if it was your stolen car, no matter what color the person was.
I was not arguing with the police.
But you're here speaking.
I am not interfering. Yeah, we just wanted to know what was going on, and I did hear that there was a stolen car, and I understand that. And we're just here just watching and making sure the community understands what was going on, so we're not spreading fear.
See, and you should tell people you're recording them. So you do
I did tell you that I was recording.
You did not tell me you were recording.
I did tell you that I was recording.
You did not.
In California,
Show the video.
You don't
Show
need
the video.
to be asked to be recorded.
Okay.
It's public.
I just came over here to make sure you guys are going to be good.
We're fine.
If there's
I'm
any
going
questions,
home.
yeah, I'm sure.
I'm trying to explain to them. My neighbor right here, who I love to death, is a legal immigrant. Are you not a legal immigrant?
She has no.
You doesn't need to answer that.
Oh, you don't have to answer that.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
Yeah, she doesn't have to answer that.
Was there
You guys are
undercover
just
cars?
silly.
It's just that's
You
what's
guys are
worrying the
silly
community
and don't.
because they see the undercover
You're
cars
probably
and
the
they
ones burning.
associate with
Lots
that.
of cars drive. Lots of cops drive.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Angel.
Angel, where are you from?
I am from Long Beach, California.
And can you tell us what happened here today?
Here at, let's say, 9 in the morning, we were working, and about maybe 15 ICE agents came and basically started to harass us. You know, questions like, "Oh, are you from here? Are you illegal? Are you a U.S. citizen?" Which I thought it was absolutely bullshit. You know, to be very honest, at this car wash, we're all legit except one of my fellow coworkers. We were all kind of shitting bricks for him because it's like I've known him for 10 years. I think it's BS how people could just come and discriminate us for having a darker shade of brown, or the stereotype a Hispanic worker at a car wash. Look, these last couple of years, I get it. You know, a ton of people came, and there's criminals, and then but there's people like us who've worked our whole lives, especially like somebody that's been here for 20 years. He works, he pays his bills, he pays, he supports his family, and it's just BS how they just come and harass us because we're Hispanic. It's not okay, man. We need to wake up, we need to change. I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's like, it's very nerve-wracking. It's everybody shaking up. Like I said, even though we're all legit, it's just to be discriminated like that, for people to just look down at us because we're brown, we're Mexican. I'm first generation Mexican. My parents came over, and they never took a penny from the government. They worked their fucking ass off. They bought their own house. They became legal, full-blown citizens. I seen that growing up. I used to help my parents in a restaurant. They've owned a flower shop. They had a liquor store. They did everything legit besides that. But they came for the American dream. And I feel like now every single year that passes by, it's just, that dream is just, it's not a dream anymore. It's hard to obtain for certain people. And
You gotta be asleep to believe it, right?
basically,
And Angel, what do you want for the future of LA?
I just want people to realize, look, man, like a ton of people, yeah, they came illegally. I completely understand that, right? But a lot of them are trying to work, trying to reach that American dream, try to pay bills, try to send money back to their folks. Like, not everybody who's brown, who's Hispanic is a criminal. Like, we're just trying to survive, man. Especially with this fucking economy that we have right now. When I used to get paid less, I had more money in my pocket than I do now. When I make double of what I make now, and it's just, yeah.
I just saw that ICE is targeting children now. And then people wonder why women don't want to have children in this presidency, in this economy. People wonder why the birth rate is so low. This is fucking why. Because they don't care about the children. We're all these Christians that were real loud 3 weeks ago, but are now silent. We're all the Christians that are against abortion. Like, they're real fucking silent.
So being out in the country, I assume somewhat I'm insulated from all the fuckery going on with the administration and ICE and everything. Well, this morning I was out here feeding my horses, and I heard all of this law enforcement, these police, ambulances. It was insane. Probably 20-30 cars near our house. And mind you, we live somewhat rural out here in kind of by Black Forest. As I'm out here, all of a sudden on the top of our hill, I see these 4 guys like running, and then at first I'm like kind of scared because like you should see where this where this is. It's like very weird to be. And then all the animals are up there looking, and somehow my German Shepherd, who was so focused on me, right, that she somehow didn't see them, thank God. And so I will show you a video in a minute. It was 4 Hispanic guys, and then as soon as I saw that, I was like not scared, because I was like, oh shit, like, are they like, it was like the freaking like El Paso, Texas like border. So they like booked it across my property over the fences, and I'm just like, what the hell? And so I'm just shaking now because I read they had Homeland Security, they had 30 different law enforcement officers, and basically what they did, if you read between the lines on the article, they went to serve a warrant or had some sort of lead over at the huge construction site over here to detain some folks, and they came in and the guys like rammed, a few of them rammed the officer's car, so then the officers opened fire, and then they booked it and then bailed. So messed up. This is so close to home, literally at my home, at my farm. We're having people feel like they need to flee our government right now. It's like the Gestapo, dude. I mean, it's just messed up. It's so messed up, but I ain't a snitch and I don't see nothing around here, and yeah, I'm not participating in helping any of these fuckers out here. So yeah, so that is where ICE is going, out in the freaking country, like detaining families and people that have businesses and are working their asses off at this very rich, nice new development next door. So just so sad.
It's Friday night, and here's what happened. Since about February of this year, ICE has been raiding entire apartment complexes, claiming that almost every single person who lives in the apartments is Tren de Agua gang members. And the evidence that Kash Patel is presenting for why he thinks that every single person living in an apartment complex is a member of a gang is this. There was graffiti on a door that said, Venezuela. It's giving... Now, if you think back, you'll remember about the ICE raid on an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado. Back then, they raided 3 different apartment complexes, all of them owned by CBZ Real Estate Management. You'll remember that CBZ claimed that Tren de Agua took over the apartment complex and was holding people captive, and they couldn't even go in there and collect rent or do anything else. Well, the city of Aurora ended up reporting that CBZ had left those residents in basic squalor. They had abandoned the apartment complexes. Some people didn't have running water. When the city of Aurora tried to hold the alleged slumlord responsible, he claimed that he was being singled out for his Jewish faith. A judge said that no one was singling you out for your Jewish faith and holding you accountable. You were being held accountable because you were basically being a slumlord. Meanwhile, back at the apartment complex, nonprofits came together to help all of those residents who had been raided move into safer homes. And all of the CBZ properties were sold to a mysterious investor. A lot of people think it was BlackRock. And that guy ran off to Turks and Caicos, where he's trying to now open a $200 million resort with his brother. And a lot of people have also speculated that the ICE raids were a way to rid these buildings of their residents so that they could be remodeled and resold as luxury apartments. Last night in Chicago, the rundown apartments at 7500 South Shore Drive were raided because, again, ICE was claiming that Tren de Agua was occupying the building. They detained over 100 people, including U.S. citizens and military veterans, and zip-tied children together and had them sit in a U-Haul while they waited to sort out who their parents were. And once again, 7500 South Shore Chicago was owned by a company called Trinity Flood. They were bought out by K-Star Real Estate, which is the subsidiary of KKR. KKR, which has close ties to the Trump administration and is buying up a ton of properties as tariffs are affecting the volatility of the real estate market. KKR, which also did a deal with Jared Kushner in Serbia. So, what's really going on with these apartment complex raids? Are they trying to rid America of gang members, or are they trying to flip formerly low-income housing into new luxury rentals? And who benefits from that? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out, but I thought that was worth sharing, and maybe you have some ideas you can share about all of this.
Latinos for Trump. First of all, you guys are embarrassing. I've always said it, and I stand by that. It's very embarrassing. You guys are weak-minded. You guys are. You couldn't just, get through that. At one point, you guys were made fun of for being Latino, and then you guys just kind of caved in. You were like, I don't want to be Latino anymore. And that's why you guys hate yourselves, and I don't know what to tell you. But now, what I can say is that the Supreme Court is allowing ICE to racially profile, and you guys are going to find out real quick that there was nothing different about you. Sorry, you guys look like us, so buckle up. I don't even think a MAGA hat can save you now. I don't think so. I don't think they really care. They're definitely not going to tell, who voted for him and who didn't. They're not going to be able to tell by looking at you, okay? Maybe you can carry your MAGA hat and your little flags around, your Trump flags, just in case. But I don't think that's going to save you. I do hate what's happening within our community and the hatred that people have towards us. But I will say that if I see a Latino for Trump being detained, I might chuckle a little bit. You know what I mean? It might be a little, funny for me. I don't know.
So I made the mistake of posting on Facebook yesterday, and boy, did I learn my lesson. You see, I thought I had done a really good job purging people from my life when Trump first ran for president. And he said those horrendous things about Mexicans, about immigrants, when he started this inquisition against the Latinos. I thought I had gotten rid of all those people in my life. Well, surprise, surprise, I guess I didn't. So yesterday I posted how I saw Border Patrol on the Chicago River and what disbelief I was in, because who are they going after? What? Kayakers? Architectural boat tour visitors? Now, I don't know what I was expecting, but what I wasn't expecting was someone to jump in my comments to call me out. And not just anybody, but a Latina. A Latina. Now, I don't remember ever meeting this person, and that's probably how she got past the purge. But, I vaguely have a recollection of her from my past, maybe a decade or more ago. But I have always been very vocal about my support for immigrants, my immigrant community. I have always been vocal about human rights. I have always been vocal about social justice. And anybody that follows me on any platform knows what I'm about. So I go to her page because I'm thinking, whoa, what's happening here? One, who is this person? And two, a Latina calling me out for what? I go to her page, and sure enough, all of her posts have something to do with Charlie Kirk or about how bad Democrats are. And it's just a Latino for Trump was in my comments. That was my realization. It's one thing to talk about Latinos for Trump. It's another thing to know that they may be in your circle. They may be in your life and you didn't even know. And I'm not talking about those Latinos that go to college and then all of a sudden are like, I'm fiscally conservative, so I'm a Republican. I'm not even talking about those. Like, when I saw her page, that was full on MAGA. She drank the Kool-Aid. And she's probably seeing the same news that I'm seeing, that the whole wide world is seeing. How families are being ripped apart. How citizens, U.S. citizens, are being questioned just on their appearance, just for looking Latino. She is seeing the same thing that I'm seeing happen at Alligator Alcatraz, where there's over 1,000 men that are missing, that are gone, poof, disappeared. And she still holds on to these beliefs. What's really scary is that when Trump first ran for president, all these people, all these Latinos for Trump were really quiet. I'm not talking about like the Proud Boys and those other groups. I'm talking about just like your everyday mutual that you didn't know was a Latino for Trump. They were pretty quiet because they're not politically active, right? But they're harboring those feelings. And then when Biden won, they got extra quiet, like into the shadows, quiet. Now that this administration has won again, now that that man was pew-pewed, all of a sudden they found a voice. They found a voice. And yes, to me, it may sound ridiculous. Like, they're coming after you, but they don't see it. They don't see it. It's just, I don't even know how to make sense of it all. But I'm glad I had this wake-up call.
Now, welcome back. According to these videos, a lot of Latino, Mexicans, Cubans, they thought that DJT is going to be their shield. He's going to play along with them. But something terrible is happening. Let's talk about the history echoes, okay? Let's take it back. I love taking it back to back because we need to see what is happening. Black people in America have been the canary in the coal mine for centuries, okay? Black people have always been the first target, first scapegoat, the first ones to feel the brutality of white power structures. From way back during slavery, Jim Crow, police brutality to mass incarceration, okay? Even the system of control was tested on black people first. So when black people raise their voices, warnings that this system don't stop with us, or don't stop with black Americans. They were met with some resistance of listening. Many did not listen. And on that list, Latino in particularly were often caught between their own struggle and the illusion of assimilation. And some bought into the lie that if we stay out of the trouble, if we stay quiet, if we work just hard, if we distance ourselves from blackness, then the system will leave us alone. That's what they thought. But the truth is, white supremacy doesn't make permanent deals with non-white people. Okay? It uses you, it tolerates you, and then it turns against you. So that's exactly what is happening with immigration right now. Now, an example, American immigration policies were never designed to favor people of color. They were designed to manage labor. They were designed to control population, to decide who belongs and who doesn't belong. In the 1990s and 1940s, not 90s, 1940s, there, 1950s, Mexican laborers were welcomed under the, is it Braquero program, something like that. Only as long as their bodies were needed to work on farms. And once the program ended, they were declared or they were discarded and mass deportation followed. Same happens in the 1990s. Politicians like Bill Clinton signed laws that criminalized immigration, expanded deportations, and made it harder to gain legal status. After 9/11, recently, especially immigrants, those from Latin America and the Middle East, became the focus of suspicion, surveillance, and raids. Under DJT, the cruelty was broadcast to the world. We are seeing it on social media. Families are being separated, children are being in cages, kept in cages. ICE are just storming neighborhoods, and deporting, they are tearing families apart. That's what is happening. Okay? And the painful part is Latinos, during this time, they sided with the very system that targeted black people. Some voted for policies that promised law and order, and they didn't realize that those same policies were sharpening the knives that would soon cut their own communities. Okay? America always thrives on division, divide and conquer rule. This is the oldest trick in the Bible. It's the oldest trick in the book. The system whispered to Latinos that you are not like black people. You just work harder. You just have family values. You are different. And to black people, it whispered that Latinos are taking your jobs. They are flooding your neighborhoods. They are the reason wages are low. So this poison kept both communities suspicious on each other. So instead of uniting, instead of black and brown uniting, okay, uniting just against the real oppressor, we were divided. And while we were divided, the system built more prisons, the system built more militarized ICE and weaponized immigration laws. And the irony is, right now, Latinos are experiencing the same brutality they once were from the sidelines when it was aimed at black people. Police brutality doesn't stop with black people. Discrimination doesn't stop with black people. And right now, immigration don't stop with undocumented workers. They sweep through entire families. And you'll ask yourself, why did Latinos ignored and voted against their own self? Why? Because that's the question we have to ask. Why didn't Latino listen? Part of it is cultural. Many Latinos come from countries with complex racial history or histories, where anti-blackness runs deep, where whiteness is glorified, and where blackness is marginalized. So when they came to America, many thought aligning with whiteness would protect them. Some distanced themselves from black struggles. Some believed in the myth of the America dream, okay? That if you worked hard enough, you could climb the ladder. And some outright dismissed black voices, accusing them for complaining too much and playing the victim. But right now, that ladder is being pulled away. That dream is being exposed as a lie. And the reality is setting in. Ignoring black people's warnings was not just a mistake. It was a setup for disaster. Let's look at the present day. Immigration raids are increasing. Politicians are pushing for stricter border controls. Asylum seekers are being turned away. Latinos are realizing that no matter how long they have been in America, no matter how much they have contributed, the system can still call them illegal and throw them away. But families, when you see right now, the Latinos families are being torn apart. Black Americans are Americans. They were born there. So they are not illegal, They are not illegal. But some Latinos right now are realizing that when they cry out, the very politicians they trusted turn their backs. Promises of DACA reform or citizenship pathways of protection, are broken. Why? Because at the end of the day, the system never saw them as equals. Now, all this that is happening, it may be painful. It is not maybe, but it is so much painful. But black people said this already, okay? None of this is new to black people. None of this is new. Black people say that don't trust the system, it will use you and discard you. Black people say that if it can build prisons for us, it can build detention centers for you. If it can lynch us on the streets, it can raid your homes in the night. Okay? But because it was black voices saying, too many ignored it. And right now, the prophecy has come true. The system is showing Latinos the same cold face it has shown black people for 400 years. Okay? Immigration policies are not natural. They are not simply about protecting borders or managing flow. Immigration policies in America are tools of control. Think about this. When America needs cheap labor, it opens the door. When America fears demographic change, it slams the door. Think about it. Immigration law is a switch that the system turns on and off based on its own economic and political needs. For example, in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan granted amnesty to millions of undocumented immigrants. Why? Because America needed farm workers, America needed service workers and factory workers. It wasn't out of compassion, it was economics. Now, in today's, the same country that once benefited from the Latino labor now claims that the border is in crisis. Okay, the same workers who built homes, who harvested food and cleaned hotels are now labeled illegal, dangerous, or invaders. The truth is, immigration law is not about justice. Okay, immigration law, it's about exploitation. Now, this is another truth here. White America is afraid of numbers. Okay, census after census shows that Latino growing into the largest minority group. Politicians, media, pundits, and white nationalists see this as a panic. Okay, they see this and panic. So, and they say things like we are replaced. They build conspiracies about the great replacement theory. They imagine that every new immigrant is a threat to their power. That's what they're imagining. But here's where Latinos are running or are learning the same lesson black people have always known. It doesn't matter how much you contribute. It doesn't matter how long you have been here. Okay, the white system will always see your numbers as a threat. And they don't fear your labor. No, they don't fear it. They love your labor, but they fear your power. We have to talk about ICE. ICE. I see on TikTok, on videos here, ICE are working extra hard. Immigration and custom enforcement, they are not just an agency. This ICE is a weapon. It's a weapon built to terrorize migrants' communities. They show up in neighborhoods like military squads. They raid homes in the middle of the night. They pull people from workplace, from schools, from hospitals. Their presence is designed to install fear so deep that families stop reporting crimes. Families stop children from attending schools, and workers stop demanding rights. But who warned Latinos about this? It is black people. Black people warned Latinos. They said this is the same playbook they used on us with police. Stop and frisk, police raids, crackdown, all these were experiment, and ICE is simply a rebranded version of the same terror. Okay, and now Latinos are realizing that America doesn't need to put chains on you to enslave you. Okay, but fear itself can become the chain. On the hardest lessons that Latinos are facing is betrayal by politicians. Okay, Democrats promote reform every election cycle. They promote to protect dreamers. They promises to stop deportation, yet when they get into office, they stall, delay, they compromise until nothing changes. Republicans, on the other hand, they don't even pretend to be allies. They openly call for mass deportation, broader walls, and stripping away rights. So where does this leave Latinos? It leaves Latino in a way road. Black people knows about this game very well. And black people too promised civil rights reforms. They were promised civil rights reforms, police accountability, economic investment. And yet, decades has passed. Black people are being told that to wait a little longer. Progress takes time. So Latinos are realizing that politicians don't serve oppressed people. They serve power. Many Latinos came to America with hope. They came to America with hope for education, hope for opportunity, safety and better life for their children. But that dream was sold as truth, a place where hard work guarantees success. But now the mask is slipping and Latinos are seeing the same nightmare black people have endured for centuries. Police pulling them over for no reason. Bosses stealing wages because who are you going to report to? Families deported while white collar criminals walk free. Children bullied in schools for accents, skin tone, and heritage. So the American dream was never meant to be shared equally for 9 white people. It is just a bait to keep black people working, bait to keep you Latinos working, okay? Bait to keep you believing, bait to stop you from realizing the system is rigged. And now as immigration laws tighten, many Latinos feel trapped, okay? Stuck between countries they left behind and a country that refuses to embrace them. And when George Floyd was unalived, black people poured into the streets to demand justice, and some Latinos too stood with us. But many stayed silent. Some even thought that black people, or that's a black issue, not theirs. But right now, when ICE raids families, or when politicians call off immigrants or all immigrants criminals, who always stand with black people? Or who always stand with Latino? Okay? This is reality. When you ignore someone else's oppression, you strengthen their oppressor. When you stay silent while black people are dehumanized, you teach the system that it can dehumanize you next. Okay? And that's exactly what's happening. We must be real. Not all Latinos ignored black people out of fear. Some ignored black people out of anti-blackness. Okay? Many Latinos' culture inherited colonial mindsets where whiteness is celebrated, light skin is prioritized, and blackness is stigmatized. So in America, they played out as Latino distancing themselves from black people. They mocked them, even joining anti-black rhetoric. But what good did it do? Did racism disappear because you spoke Spanish instead of English? Did whiteness embrace you because your last name wasn't Johnson or Smith? No. Racism still found you. And now the anti-blackness is backfiring because the very, very system Latino tried to separate themselves from is showing them that we don't care how far you run from blackness, but you are still not one of us, okay? But at the end of the day, the struggle of black people and Latinos are intertwined because we have shared struggle, we have shared chains, okay? Police brutality doesn't ask if you're black or if you're brown. Poverty doesn't ask if you are from Mississippi or from Mexico. Prisons don't ask if your ancestors were enslaved or were just undocumented. The chains may look different, but they bind us all. The chain bind us all, okay? The same system that enslaved Africans built laws to exclude Chinese immigrants. The same system that locked up Japanese Americans during World War II is the same system that now cages Latino children at the border. And here's the awakening. Latino are learning that ignoring black people wasn't just wrong. It was dangerous because all of our struggle were never separate. But I always call for unity of black and brown. That's what I call, because we are all going through the same oppressor. Okay? We are going all through the same oppressor. Divided, we are weak, but united, we are unstoppable. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Until next episode, peace out.